Hey everyone, I am back again and I have a message for you guys kind of around manipulation and around a pretty crazy topic around money. So I wanted to have this conversation with you guys today because I've just gotten straight off one of my coaching sessions and had an amazing session with one of my coaches, and really powerful, short, sharp message, or lesson that I've learnt that I really need to go very deep on. But I wanted to talk it out with you guys because I know this is true for way too many of us, and we can be manipulated by money. So most of us don't have a great relationship with money. Most of us were never taught how to have a great relationship with money. And most of us, we all want money, right? Because it gives us freedom, it gives us opportunities, it gives us all the things that we want. And so we can easily get manipulated by money if we are not careful, and if we are allowing other people in our lives to, we're seeing them as having more power because they have more money. So, my coach talked to me about this today, and it was like, kind of caught me off guard, and it really did solidify for me a deeper internal truth. And it was like, you got me, right? Like, oh my gosh, like I can definitely see that there was some definite truth, right, going on in what he was saying. And so ultimately, if I look back on my life, I've come from, my family's been quite well off. They've always provided for me. My dad had a pretty challenging upbringing, which saw him, really see that, his father kind of left him and his family for dead. So to go into a bit of a deep and personal story there, he had an older brother who died very young of cystic fibrosis. And, it was a very challenging time for him because he was only about 12 years old at the time. And he'd witnessed his brother go through, the pain and the torment of battling cystic fibrosis and pretty much, drowning in, his own fluids. That's, not to get too graphic with you guys, but any of you guys who don't know too much about cystic fibrosis, really horrible disease, and it was much worse back in that time. And so at that time when my dad's older brother died and passed away, I think he was only about 15 years old, his father, my dad's father, couldn't really handle it, couldn't really deal with the pain of what was going on, and he ended up leaving his family. And my dad at 12 years old really had to step up and become the adult, right? He had to become the man of the house at that point. And they didn't really have any money. And, his father wasn't providing for them financially at all. And so at that time, that very stressful situation, and not having any money, and his mother was working multiple jobs and trying to make ends meet and struggling with her own, dealing with her son's death and all of that sort of stuff. And at that time, my dad made a decision that he would never, ever let his children suffer by not having any money to buy anything. He made a decision at that point in his life that, I am definitely never going to let my children ever have to worry about money, right? And so at that point, he still didn't have anything. He worked his butt off. He knew that if he wanted to get to university and become an engineer, he was going to have to really he was going to have to work so hard that he could earn a scholarship into university because they just didn't have the money for it. And so he actually did that. He became the dux of the school. He studied his butt off. He made sure he got a full scholarship into engineering. And, and so he's always been very successful in his own right and always provided for his family to such a high degree, right? So basically, always provided for his children financially. And so, me, the only girl in the family, the youngest, I grew up, pretty taken care of, right? And it was only, my dad even took me over to Germany at one point to meet a female engineer, because he'd love me to be an engineer, right? But that was never going to happen. And you guys who know my story know that I never knew what I wanted to do. If you want to hear my story a bit deeper, if you haven't heard it before, read my post that I posted out a few hours ago. That really documents it. But at the end of the day, I was somebody who was very, very taken care of financially. What happened for me was I ended up just going along with what everybody wanted for me, right? And not even being conscious that that was what was going on, right? But, it was very easy. My family paid me a full-time wage to go to university, to study and not have to get a job because that would distract me from my studies, right? And, I was very, very spoiled, right? Like I had a car bought for me, petrol paid for me, phone, I really had no expenses, right? But I had no idea what I wanted to do. And it was because deep down, I knew that this wasn't the path for me that I was going on. I was just living to the perceived expectations that I had from everybody around me. And I was creating this life that was getting rewarded financially. And I wasn't able to bring up and address what is it that I want to do with my life, because I would lose everything in my mind. I'd lose everything that I owned, right? And everything that I needed, which was the approval from my family, right? And so, but the finances kind of kept me in that shadow of understanding what it is that I wanted, right? And so basically I can see from there how that has played out time and time again in my life. And it does just wake you up. There's different circumstances, like your past follows you until you learn the next layer of the onion and you unravel that, right? And so I've just had my coach kind of wake me up to yet another layer of the onion in terms of how I want to be living my life and not being manipulated by money, not having clients that you don't want, not doing things that you don't want, that aren't in alignment just because of the money. Like, it's so important to do what you do from the right place, right? And I wanted to share kind of just like, I didn't know where I was going to go. I never really do. I just kind of rant and roll with you guys. But I wanted you to think about where in your life you're manipulated by money. Maybe you're doing things that you don't want to do because you'll be better off financially. Or if you changed or challenged what you're doing, maybe you fear that you would have some sort of financial loss, right? So look at what you're doing, and I've put out some posts on this before. It's really about prostituting ourselves. Where are you selling yourself out for finances? And I just want you guys to go on this journey, because it's so empowering to become aware of where you're selling yourself out, and then to not only become aware of it, but then from that point, make a change. And the moment that you align with what's actually right and you forget about the money or the finances or whatever you perceive that you're going to lose, and you just go, you know what, my life and I deserve to live in alignment. I deserve to really step into my truth, and I deserve to live my own life and not be manipulated by money or any other version or perception of external power. All right, so hoping that this does resonate with you guys, and it just gets you thinking and more conscious and more aware of where you might be selling yourself out, and just don't do it, right? It is not worth it, because the moment you sell out is the moment you lose all your self-belief, and it's the moment you also stay stuck in that cycle, because whatever you perceive that you're going to lose at the point when you stop aligning with the truth of who you are is the moment that that thing becomes even more powerful over you, because you feel even more worthless, right? If you feel worthless, if you feel that you're not as valuable in some regard, it's definitely because you're not in alignment, right? You're not being true to yourself. So ask yourself, where are you out of integrity? And it's just one way of looking at how we do that is looking at how money is manipulating us, or the people that we perceive to have that money. All right. So don't be a prostitute. Oh, that sounds horrible, but it's so true. And I think we sometimes need to be jarred into really looking at ourselves in a whole new light. So I do have to take off pretty soon, but I'm hoping that this message has definitely resonated and served you. I'd love to hear from you. Drop me a comment, say hi. I love getting to connect with you guys. And any questions you guys can drop, whether you're joining me right here live now or later on. I always love getting back to you guys. And I've got Judy in the house, and Thu and Daryl and Jerry. Hi, Vanessa. Thanks for the live from work. You make it a nice start. I love hearing that, Jerry. Hope you're doing amazingly well. And Jeff is here as well. Great to see each and every one of you guys. But that is my message for you guys today, to just make sure that you're not getting manipulated by money. It's really not worth it. And the moment that you step into alignment with your truth is the moment you realize you're way more powerful than anything externally could ever be. All right. So, and Jerry, we have to remain true to ourselves and our true values. Absolutely. Values is a key way of understanding what's meaningful to you as a human being, which is ultimately, totally connected to the truth of who you are. So great point there, Jerry. I love it. So, and Jeff, great message. Thank you. You're so welcome, my friend. Thank you so much. I'm grateful that this was of value to you. So that is my message for you guys. And as always, I'm sending you all of my love, light, blessings, gratitude, energy, enthusiasm, everything extraordinary coming to you to wherever you are in the world today. I really do hope that it's beautiful, amazing, and extraordinary, that you're doing something super empowering, and today's message has definitely served you. Thanks so much for you guys who could join me live and checking in and saying hi and contributing to the conversation. I so appreciate that. And I'm signing off. I'm sending you guys all of my love, and I'll see you tomorrow.